Hey everybody, Cooper here from etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's RV Rider on our 2021 Dodge Durango. This rack is going to be a platform style bike rack, able to accommodate up to 2 bikes, individually rated for 80 pounds each, which means that our heavier electric e-bikes are definitely going to be an option with this. We are, however, making contact on our center mast as our main point of contact here, so our carbon frame bikes might not be able to fit on this rack, but the ability to flip our knob and have this go up and down the mast definitely means that our alternative frame bikes are going to find a home on this. Now, while our rack does come with a tilt-away feature, unfortunately that tilt is not aggressive enough to clear the back hatch on our Durango. So if you do want to see that tilt-away feature in action, go look up the full demo here on our website. We did want to, however, point out that we are really close to making contact on our normal mountain bike to our back windshield. So knowing the size of your handlebar is pretty important for the Durango on what racks may or may not come really close to making contact. But a simple tennis ball or a pool noodle might just help you put your mind at ease if you're going to use this rack on your Durango. So if we're going to want access into our back hatch, we're going to have to take our bike off, and that's what this process is going to look like. In addition to our main center point on our mast, we do have 2 rubber straps on our front and back wheels we're going to need to undo. Gently engage that lever, allows us to pull this right through, feed that through our spoke, and then just kind of set that to the side so it's out of our way. Doing the same on the back, disengaging, being able to pull through. And this is a good time to show you there's an additional rubber pad that will sit on your bike just for a little bit extra protection. But with those 2 out of the way, we are going to want to come up to our center mast and hold on to our bike, because as soon as we disengage this knob here, we are going to feel that full weight of the bike transferred from our rack to us. There's also these hook and loop straps, which will help keep it in place even more. But once we have this undone, we are going to simply be able to sort of just rotate it out of our way. And then what's really nice is we will have the ability to shift it even more. So instead of having to go through, we are going to be able to come up and over our rack. And once we clear that center mass, go ahead and put our bike down, and we're ready to go. Now with our bike off, we can look at some of the other features that our rack has to offer. Taking a look in at our cradle, we can see that they are very wide. We can support a tire width of up to 5 inches. And by disengaging our little knob over here, our cradle can actually move up and down our rack, allowing us to support up to a wheelbase of 60 inches, which those 2 together and our 80-pound capacity means that any bike we want to put on this rack is going to be able to fit. Now, once we go ahead and put our rubber straps back in to their holders, we'll go ahead and show you how to get into your trunk. Thankfully, our center mast does fold down, so we are going to gain access to our trunk, even though we can't use our tilt-away feature. We're just going to simply unscrew our knob here, and as that plastic cap comes off, pull our bolt out, which then allows our center mast to go ahead and fold down out of the way. If it's not folding down all the way, you may find that you need to move one of the clamps from our center mast to get a little more space. But with that center mast down, we have access into our trunk, whether we want to grab our helmet, grab our shoes, grab a light snack, or just have somewhere to sit after our ride before we take off. Now, in order to secure our center mast in this folded position, we're going to go ahead and take our bolt and feed it back through. It is a little bit of a tight fit, so you may need to find yourself wiggling that center mast back and forth. But then we are going to go ahead and put our washers back on and retighten our knob. Now, before we fold this up, we're going to take some measurements real quick to show you what it's like carrying our own bikes in this down position. So by putting our tape measure to our bumper and measuring that furthest point out on the bike rack, we can see we are adding on about 28 inches of space onto the back of the car. And that's just good to know if you're trying to store this in your garage in that down position, if you're trying to fit into a tight space somewhere, or changing lanes on the highway, to be aware that you do have additional length on the back of your vehicle. Coming back down to the bottom, we are going to go ahead and measure our ground clearance, which is going to be at 18 inches. With how high this sits up, I'm not too concerned about taking up a steep incline or parking it on an incline about this touching the ground. Now, in order to get our rack in that more compact position, we are going to come to the center of our rack. Simply undo our knob over here on this side, which does allow us to go ahead and pull this pin, making sure we have our washer as well. And then we're just simply going to lift our rack up until we find it in that position. It may not sit at a perfect 90, but that's all right because that's how the rack is designed. Then you'll simply go ahead and push our bolt back through the new hole that we have lined up on, put our washer down, and screw our cap back on. Now, in this configuration, this is going to be for when space is more at a premium. You may not be able to store the rack and your vehicle inside your garage in that down position, but maybe it'll fit like this. In order to know, let's get that measurement. So, again, putting our tape measure to our bumper and measuring out that furthest point, we are only adding on 14 inches in this configuration, so we are saving a lot of space. So like I said, whether you're parking in your garage or just want to fold it up so that way you can take it to the grocery store or something while there's no bike on it, this is another configuration available for this rack. Now, with our rack in this position, seeing how it interacts with our car a little bit, we are going to have a completely unobstructed view of our back window. We are going to be able to use our backup camera. While the rack might be in the shot, we are going to be able to see past it to anything else behind our vehicle. We have a completely unobstructed view of our license plate, and all of our backlights and our brake lights are going to be able to be seen as well. One thing that is surprising with this rack is that even in this configuration, we do have hatch access. The one thing you do need to watch out for is this clamp on the center mast has a chance to make contact in different configurations. So just making sure that you have a way to put that completely out of the way before opening your hatch is a really good idea. But with it out of our way, we can open up our hatch. If we were to take this out to the grocery store without any bikes on it, now we have a chance to load our groceries all into the back. Our rack is going to use a 2-inch shank that's going to fit inside a 2-inch receiver. We do have an anti-rattle bolt, which is capped on here with a lock core with an included key. This key is key-to-like to those clamps we saw on our center mast earlier. So not only is there an additional security feature for your bike, but there's additional security feature for your bike rack as well. That anti-rattle bolt is just going to help stick into the hitch of the car and really take out any additional left and right or up and down motion that that rack may have. Now, our rack is called the RV Rider for a reason. It was primarily designed to be used with motorhomes, but knowing that you could take it off your motorhome, put it on your Durango, and that you still have all those opportunities to carry around your heavier bikes, your fat tire bikes, and even have hatch access while it is in this folded up position are all really nice things to know. If you are looking for a bike rack though, just primarily to keep on your car and you don't have a motorhome, something like the Kuat NV 2.0 would be a very comparable thing to this bike rack that just helps simplify and streamline some of the things that the Hollywood rack doesn't. But today, this was a look at our Hollywood Racks RV Rider on our 2021 Dodge Durango. Thanks for watching.